Hey there YouTube. Today I want to show you all this 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT with 105,000 miles. This one has the 3.4 liter overhead valve V6. Yeah, it's the head gasket munching version. And this one also is the Ram Air, so it has a different air induction system. A little bit of extra horsepower and some torque, which is a huge welcome. 4-speed automatic, which is all what GM offered those days. But hey, the car still did 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds, so it was a pretty quick car. Rides on the N-body platform, so yeah, it's pretty much the same platform of many front-wheel drive GM vehicles from the mid-80s, such as the Cutlass and Skylark of those days, but of course they've tweaked the suspension and it has a modern multi-link setup in back, so I mean it will handle pretty good for what it is. This body style Grand Am started in '99 all the way up to 2005, and it was the last generation of the Grand Am until it was replaced by, I'm guessing, the Pontiac G6. There was an entry 4-cylinder which could also be had with a 5-speed manual. The V6 was never available with a manual. This is the highest trim level that you can get for the Grand Am. Has just about everything: leather, sunroof, the alloys, rear disc brakes, fog lamps. Shares similar looks to the Pontiac Bonneville. I do like the quad exhaust tips, and the exhaust of this car does sound pretty good. I think it's the only car where this old 3.4 liter engine actually sounds pretty damn good. I forgot mentioning the engine does have 175 horsepower, 205 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty impressive for this little old antiquated boat anchor. I do have some heart for the spoiler, really helps add some sportiness to the car. And it's very good, very large. Access is a little bit on the tiny side and you really have to jump your way into it. Probably not the best car for an old geezer who wants to put their golf clubs in here. Has those hinges which do intrude with trunk space. Spare tire, little donut. I'm sure the tools are hidden underneath. 60-40 split fold pull on these straps, and I'm assuming you could just push away. Ugh. There we go. Nice flat floor, so this car does have some decent utility. There you go. You know, I'm not a huge fan of this color. It is very unique and it seems cool at first, but after a while I'm just getting quite sick of it. It's very pukey looking and it does get old pretty fast. It does ride on 225/50 16s, and again, the little example of the rear disc brakes. Most GM cars of this generation had rear drums. And look at this dashboard, it completely warped and a section of it is missing. A very busy, sporty, or odd looking interior, however you want to call it. Doesn't appeal to everybody, but modern looking in my opinion. Adjustment to the seat right here, you can see it has lots of thigh support adjustments, back, forth, and for the height, backrest, very flimsy handle, and that annoying GM bong. Materials on the door panel pretty good, everything's padded, armrest as well, and the little door pocket. Everything down here is also soft to the touch, and to unlatch the trunk. Into the gauge sweep. These seats, they're a bit firm, somewhat supportive, hugs your back. Seats could have been softer. The previous owner didn't condition them as much, and it's somewhat toasty. It's quite hard. Hopefully if you condition it very frequently, you may be able to revive the suppleness to the leather. Thigh support is great on the driver's side. The legroom is really good. The center stack isn't intrusive, and I don't need to have the seat rolled all the way back. When it comes to interior quality, GM did try. This entire dashboard is soft to the touch, but it's just an awful foam, badly made, and they didn't really do much testing to see if it would last in the long run. It totally warped upwards, and there's also a section that's missing up here, and that's quite a very common thing to find on most GM cars of those days. It's even all the way up to the Cadillac DTS, the DeVille, STS, Seville. All of those cars had their issues with their dashboards. Glove box, pretty large. It's more like a shovel, but you can also dig further back, and it's quite deep when you really look into it. It's not damped, slams open. Traction control, hazards, the Monsoon audio system, CD, cassettes, Climate control is dummy proof. It's not dual zone, nor does it have automatic functions. Mild smoker. Really didn't utilize this lighter much. The 4-speed automatic wasn't a very refined gearbox. E-brake, it's leather wrapped, and so is the shifter. Fortunately, another little cup holder. Center console isn't that sure-footed. It's jiggly. The armrest is padded. Some storage in there. Put your CDs, and it's very deep. Steering wheel is leather wrapped, nicely thick. Bolsterings, intermittent speed wipers, volume controls for the radio, cruise control functions, headlamps. You do have automatic headlamps, and the steering wheel only tilts. It only has a few fixed positions. Panel dim functions, fog lamps, master window switch over here. The paint completely peeled off, revealing the natural plastic colors. And you can see the bezel to the instrument cluster also isn't fitting properly either because the dashboard is warping. Headliner's cushiony. The sunroof, little lonely switch up here. I do have some heart for this style of sunroof. I thought it looks cool, especially when you see these cars driving. The sunroof is just popped right on top of the roof, and it gives it like a little wing effect. The other upside is that there's more headroom, as opposed to regular sunroofs that slide under the roof of the car. Cars with those designs of sunroofs have less headroom because you have to hide the mechanisms and also add a little slot for the sunroof to slide in, but it's not the case here. The sun visors are padded. No vanity light. You would have imagined this fully loaded car having a vanity light, at least. It just has one massive mirror, and this just feels very inexpensive, like it'll break very easily. The rear view mirror has the map lights down below over here. It's pretty cool, but I think this wire is such an afterthought. It's just so sloppy. Just a little black wire dangling right there. And the mirror on the driver's side. It's just so creaky. Yeah, no vanity light. And materials do carry over into the back seat. When it comes with the door panel, nothing changes. Everything is soft to the touch and nicely padded. And again, an example of the 60-40 split fold. Fold this up. The backrest looks very flat, and there's no armrest in the center. Look at the front seat. I have the seat adjusted to where I prefer. I'm 6'1", and yeah, there's not a whole lot of legroom here. If the front passengers were at least 5'8" or so, legroom wouldn't be too bad back here. And little cup holders here, just how the thing falls down like that. Not tensioned at all. The 3.4 liter overhead valve V6, 175 horsepower, 205 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty good figures for an old pushrod engine. Most of those power increases come to the ram air system, you know, different air induction. But yeah, these engines are notorious to really munch their head gaskets. So yeah, head gasket munchers. Found in the Equinox, also in the Pontiac Aztek, Buick Rendezvous, and other GM minivans. I like that little growl that it does when you really floor it when it hits the rev limiter. It's very quiet and it actually sounds nice in here. Anyways, YouTube, I just wanted to give you all a look at this Grand Am. I really haven't done many tours of Pontiacs except for those ugly Azteks. I hope you all got a look at this Grand Am. Thankfully, it's a fully loaded model. And I hope you all enjoyed this tour.